What is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this beautifully honest reaction. When I tell you I am exhausted, and I'm I'm exhausted for a number of reasons, to be honest with you, but this TGIF Fox Soul drama that has been going on for all of this time that we're still talking about, even though this show no longer exists, it is extremely exhausting. But I've been asked about it, and I just decided to do a reaction to some of the content. All right, so we know that House of Aaron, he leaked, I won't say he leaked, I will say he was given some video footage of Al Reynolds from behind the scenes at Fox Soul. I am going to share my reaction to that, but here's what I want to say about this before I even go into that. I did a breakdown of all three of the final hosts from this show, because we know Funky Dineva was no longer a part of this 3-panel any longer. And he said that he quit. I shared my thoughts on why I don't believe he actually quit, although I'm not saying they came out and said you're fired. But in that world, we who know how things work, it's about contracts, and that is how they do dismiss people. A lot of times it will be a way of making it not even that it's amicable, but trying to make it a little less tension by saying we just couldn't come to a contract agreement, so we have decided to mutually part ways. But honestly, if he didn't want to be there anymore, there would be no, well, let's talk about how much more you're going to pay me. And if they wanted to keep him there, they would have given in to his demands. So let's just be clear. They had the upper hand, but they were stupid as well. The network, because I said this over and over again, they should have had him sign a non-compete and non-disclosure agreement. And they obviously didn't do that, because if he did sign those things, he is breaking it left, right, up and down. And they're, so far haven't done anything about it. So obviously that's not something that was done. And that's their bad. That's their misstep or missteps. And he is benefiting from it. That was just dumb. So I don't know who was in charge of that over there, but somebody, they made a very, very big mistake with that. But I digress. I did a breakdown of the final 3 hosts and how I felt like they all contributed. I didn't say that everyone was, equally responsible for the show's demise. That's definitely not what I said, but I did believe that they all contributed, period. And although I do feel for Armand and his feelings of, all the other stuff, honestly, like he took the position, whether he was making $70,000 or $250,000 or $100,000 or whatever. Quite frankly, all of them, in my personal opinion, were overpaid for what they were doing. Let's just be clear about that. And not just because of what they were doing, but how much money was the network really grossing for what they were doing? Seriously. Now, albeit Fox Soul, it is something that, when we think of Fox, we think of the big network Fox, but the network Fox, they have been going through a lot of things, not just in this recent situation with them having this big loss and having to pay out like billions for a defamation lawsuit, which was absolutely insane. But that network has been under a lot of litigation for years due to sexual harassment and a number of different things by some other hosts that were on the Fox network. So, Fox News, not just Fox, the Fox News network. So, with all of that being said, I don't believe they really have any money to just throw away. And in my personal opinion, I feel like they all had a stake in, that show's demise, but I also do believe that it was coming to an end anyway. And I keep saying that I'm going to do some content on that, but I'm eventually going to get around to it. Life has just been crazy. But let's go ahead and get into this, this stuff, So let's just go ahead and get into this Al Reynolds breakdown that we are all reacting to at this point in time.
That there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect, Joyce, and you refuse to recognize it, and it's not fair. You say to us certain things, but then you backslide on it. You say certain things to me, and you say certain things to other people. It's quite clear you got caught twice talking about me. You got caught. And I won't even tell on this show, on this Zoom, what you said to me offline. Okay, so we won't even talk about that.
Al, I just really quick, I want to jump in because, guys, we're on Zoom, and it's still people on here, and this conversation is recorded. The thing is, I just want us, we're definitely, this is, we have to resolve this, but I just kind of want this to keep this in-house, because these type of things...
Let's talk about being very unprofessional. Okay. Why would you send me that? Why when you say, Al, look, I apologize, I messed up, you're going to send me, let's talk about being very unprofessional, telling me I'm being unprofessional because I missent something. You missent it first. You missent it first. And then you're going to call me unprofessional? Cut it out.
Let me pause there. Oh my God. This is just so triggering to me because I had done a couple of different commentaries on Al, and honestly, it's just, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm on Claudia Jordan's side, because I'm not. And one, because I don't know any of these people, so I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't. But him sitting there talking about someone is unprofessional, look how he's operating in that time. And that's not them sitting at the bar talking about a situation that's happening at work. This was a business Zoom meeting. And I mean, honestly, they do everything via Zoom, I'm assuming. I don't know, if they use some other different streaming platform to do what they have been doing all along with the show. But the level of tension, I can't say that I have ever experienced, and I have been in some pretty toxic work environments in my years when I have been an employee, and in the past, several decades that I have been a business owner, I have had some toxic employees that have worked in my business, and I have never dealt with anything like that whatsoever. And when I tell you, I could tell you some stories about some things that I have experienced in my days of being an employee when I was in the legal field, and my, days and years, and my days and years being an employer and having employees work in my business. But I've never dealt with any, a shouting match like that. That's absolutely disrespectful and unprofessional. And all over a text message. Listen, I don't know what was said in the text message, but he alluded to something about him being called maybe a drama queen, maybe not those words, but saying he does too much. You're blowing up over that. This is why I say that he is no innocent angel in this show's demise. I don't care how mute he is at this point in time.
Me, please pay attention to the show. I'm not paying attention to the show? Did I miss something? Did I miss when somebody called on me?
I'm not raising my voice at you.
Well, I am, because I'm upset. I'm tired of my EP not respecting how I feel.
Who cares? Who cares how you feel? We live in a world where it's not even about your feelings. You could have unfortunately lost your parents the day before, and the next day, people could know about it and still not care about your feelings, because that's the world that we live in. And so him saying, you don't care about my feelings, she absolutely is not required to care about your feelings. He's talking to the executive producer. Who is he? The entitlement is absolutely insane.
I'm tired of my MP talking shit about me. I'm tired of my MP acting like one thing in front of one group and one thing in front of another. Okay, I have a right to be upset. I asked you to please let me go. You will not let me go.
Wow.
This is what you get.
Okay.
And I'm glad it's being recorded because I need for people to see what I'm dealing with on a regular basis.
Was he trying to get unemployment? Because, you know, I don't know how every state works, but in most states, if you quit a job, then you're not entitled to unemployment benefits. But if you're terminated, you don't automatically have rights to unemployment benefits. But if you are terminated, then they usually will just go ahead and get it to you. And then the employer can request a hearing and they can say, oh, well, I had to get rid of this person for cause and here are the reasons why. Because I've been through that before on both sides. When I was an employee, I had a job where I was let go from, and it was no cause of my own. And I, was able to receive unemployment benefits. And I've been an employer or am an employer, and I've had to dismiss someone for cause for coming into my business during non-working hours on camera, coming in, was there for a few hours and lied about why they were there when I confronted them about it, and I dismissed them. And I had all of my documentation as to why I let the person go, but they, filed for unemployment benefits. But I'm just saying, when he said, I asked you to let me go and you refused to let me go. So to me, it sounds like he was trying to get fired so that he could qualify for unemployment benefits, because it's like, if it's that toxic, then why not just quit?
Absolutely right. That was the rule, is that Claudia is not to come back.
And why are you jumping down my throat for following your rule that you put in? And then why are you going to call me in front of my colleagues that I do too much as usual? Those were your words. You want me to scroll down and read them? You want me to scroll down and read them? I do too much on this show? I do too much choice on this show on a regular? Okay, then why would you say it?
Okay, because this is what happened. Last week, you cut Claudia off when she was trying to end the show to give a shout out. You've done it at the top of the show.
I'm not the only one that cuts people off to say stuff at the end of this show, Joyce. Get out of here. Get out. Bye, Joyce. I'm the only one that cuts anybody off on this show. I'm the only one that doesn't follow the script. I'm the only one that does impromptu stuff. Get out of here, Joyce.
Doing that, that's the thing.
Okay.
Joyce, hey guys, I think we got to table this conversation now.
I'm the one that's always the problem on the show, right?
I highly doubt he was the only one that was a problem, but he definitely sounds like a huge one to me. And for him to just be so disrespectful, like, this is not surprising to me. I'm sorry, any man that is given an opportunity like this, that most people feel was undeserved. Like, honestly, who is he? I'm not saying that you have to be some big time, mega messy person to have a position like that, where you're talking about pop culture topics and trending stories in media and on social media, online or whatever. I'm definitely not saying that, but to have it as a job where you're being paid money to do it, it's like, where is the gratefulness? You're not even having to show up to be in the same building with these people. I could not imagine how people feel that are working multiple jobs, trying to do the best they can with what they got, and they see people like this that are making the amount of money that he claims or they claim to have been making, and they're acting like this. The ungratefulness is absolutely ridiculous, and I really don't have any tolerance for anything like that.
Hi, Joyce.
No, I'm not saying that you're always the problem on the show, but whenever I try to talk to you about the issues that we have, each of us, or all of them, I speak to each of them.
Joyce, we have so many issues on this show, sweetheart. For you to constantly nitpick me every day and call me every day telling me something that I need to work on is exhausting. And I've told you that. I said, Joyce, we have people falling off the damn internet, and you're calling me about a glow I have at the top of my freaking head. I have said that to you, but you don't understand what that means when you constantly have to criticize a talent all the time. It doesn't feel good.
See, there we go. His entitlement of how people make him feel. And we're not talking about sexual harassment. We're not talking about, violent rhetoric or anything like that, right? We're talking about nitpicking, which may be annoying, but it's not illegal. And it's definitely not against employment practices. It happens. It happens on the worst of jobs. So you mean to tell me he couldn't deal with it via a text message or on a Zoom? When there are people who go to work, I remember working in a law firm where the head attorney, one of the partners of the firm, it was a small law firm at the time, and actually one of the last ones I ever worked in, praise God, was so foul and nasty with his mouth and would curse people out that was working in this office. And I had never dealt with anything like that before in my life. And I worked there, I think, for a couple of years. And I was like, this will be the last law firm I ever work in, because I was going into another direction. But he can't deal with somebody saying, you need to work on this or work on that. And it doesn't feel good, the nitpicking. Get out of here. Like he told Joyce, get out of here.
And it doesn't feel good when I am trying my freaking best every freaking day, and you don't acknowledge it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. And put some shit like in that chat. You better be glad it came to me. You better be glad it came to me. And I'm glad it came. It came to me for a reason. And the reason is for me to talk to you like this right now. You have no right to call me unprofessional, because you have been on a live show talking with your friends and cackling and kickling with your friends on a live YouTube show. You have never seen that come out of my camp over here. You have so nerve to tell me I'm unprofessional. I'm done
with you guys, but I cannot get into the back and forth, this one line on this one and that one line on that one, and this one said this one. I can't even tell you the things that I know.
I agree with you.
Same, Joyce.
I would have never brought this to your attention had there not been a three-way meeting about me and Justin's relationship, and me and Justin were completely isolated.
So out of context. And that is what is frustrating me, Armand, is that you are taking what that meeting was about out of context. Because what you are alluding to is that Claudia and Al asked to meet with me to talk about you and your relationship and why you got this job and you're having an affair with Justin. What does that sound like to you? That is just absolutely insane to me. Okay. And that did not go down like that. And so
yes, it did. It did. And I will put my hand, I will swear on a stack of Bibles. So let me just, all this lying, I can't take it anymore. I cannot take this. Al called me the day after the Image Awards and said, we need to have a meeting with Joyce. And I found it weird because we don't really talk anymore. He wanted to have a meeting since I'm tired of the lies. And it has to all be on the table. And I wish Al was here. And I said, what? He calls me up and says he doesn't like the direction of the show. And at the time, I wasn't feeling it either, in full disclosure. And Armand, I told you this.
We already know this.
I told you I wasn't feeling it either. I felt like it was all this contention. It was this negative. And I felt the same way. So he's like, I want to have a meeting with Joyce, which I thought was weird that he wanted to include me because I know they have their relationship and they talk a lot. And they're close. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll be on the meeting. In the meeting, he said he felt a few things. He felt like Justin is making the show too gay, and he wanted Destiny to have a bigger role in the show and take over the topics. Did say that. Okay, so you agree with that. Then he also said, and Armand, I don't like the tone of the show, and I'm just not happy, and I don't think I can do this much longer if he's here. And I was like, wow, okay, he said that. He also said, I went out with Armand, and Armand said that him and Justin went on a date and that he's been very heavily coached for this job, including being told to join after. That is what's being said. I'm sorry, Joyce. I'm a very honest person. I'm not good at lying, and I will tell the truth. That's what was said in the meeting. We had this meeting. We did have the meeting. He did say that. I'm not even putting that on you. That's why I find it very odd that you're rushing to his defense and saying, no, shutting it down. He said it, Joyce. I I'm a very credible person, and I'm not a liar. I'm not.
I'm going to pause right there. And listen, some people, they might take that line right there and laugh at it. I don't know. I don't know Claudia personally, but I know that there have been some times where people have questioned some things that she has said as being the truth. But I don't think that she's lying about this situation. But all of this just feels so... I'm exhausted with it, but it's just so weird because she did this interview with Carlos King, and she said that if the show does not come back, she was going to be dropping receipts, and she did. But what I don't respect about her with this is the fact that even though this is her speaking on this video, she had it sent to other vloggers. Like, why not put it out on her own? It makes it look, honestly, in my personal opinion, just being beautifully honest, I feel like it makes her look worse to share it with other vloggers, to have them kind of do her dirty work in a way, because this, I don't know how this works because she's no longer with the network, but I would assume that any meetings and documents and, whether the documentation is video or notes or whatever, I would assume that would be property of the company, not for her to be disseminating out here. And so the fact that it was shared with other people, I just feel that she has her own YouTube channel. She has her own social media platforms. Why not drop it herself versus giving it to other people? Now, she may feel like, oh, these other people, they have more of a bigger platform in those areas than I do. But she should have put it out herself. And also what I don't like about this is the fact that she put it out there with, I will say, a content creator that is someone that is now calling himself her friend. Like, dude, you never met this woman in your life personally. She may have done an interview on your YouTube channel after Funky Dineva left, and she was making her rounds with a few different content creators to get her story out there after Funky Dineva had his blow up when the Flay Monroe situation happened, right? And this person also was claiming that, okay, because she said it, that he was going to be one of the guest co-hosts on on TGIF. And I honestly didn't see that happening. I really felt like those were just words that she was saying because she was on his platform at the time to kind of be nice about it, but it never happened. And he also does not like Armand, hasn't liked Armand. And I feel like he doesn't like Armand, my thoughts, because Armand is admired by the content creator that he admires, and that man is disgusting. He has been alleged to have done dirty deeds with underage people and, and claiming to be, well, he said he doesn't believe in labels, but claiming to be heterosexual but also living a homosexual lifestyle. And I don't have an issue with anybody living their life. I do have an issue with people lying about it and profiting off of the people that if he were to come out to say that I am a gay man, they would stop supporting him financially. And so this, to some hearing this, they might sound like a whole lot of, but the reason why I'm saying all of this is because she shared this content with that content creator who is connected to someone that is very foul and vile. And Armand Wiggins is admired by that content creator. And I have done a breakdown of a conversation, I'll say, that Armand had with that content creator and Storm Monroe. So, if I don't want to even call that person's name, but for those who know, you can figure it out. If you don't know, you can go to my playlist and the Beautifully Honest Reaction playlist, and I did that. God, that was months ago. But I digress. Claudia dropping this on other people and not dropping it herself, to me, it just feels dirty.
I agree with every single thing.
Okay, but he did tell you that, Joyce, and I don't know why you're denying it.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Not a problem.
So, Joyce, you didn't tell me that he said that I am making the show heavily gay.
Yes, he
As
did.
a manager,
He did say that, and he said he wanted. He said he wanted Destiny to take over your role and to put her more in a position.
You didn't tell me this, Joyce.
Swear to God.
He didn't say that Justin was making it heavily gay.
Oh my God! Joyce.
That's what he said.
Let me walk it off.
He felt that the show was turning heavily gay. He didn't say that Justin is making the show heavily gay.
Then why would he suggest Destiny to take over?
No, he didn't say for Destiny to take over. He said maybe what Destiny can do is Destiny. Hold on 1 second.
Basically, we're saying the same thing, but you're making it more palatable. We're saying the same thing. You guys, I'm not a liar. I've never lied. I can't.
Oh, see, and that's the part that's hard for me, because for someone to say that they've never lied, be more specific. Say, I've never lied in this situation about anything that's happened here, because we are all human beings and we have all said a lie at some point in our lives. So when someone says I've never lied at all, that makes it a problem for me. But Al Reynolds, of all people, who is claiming to be bisexual, that makes it sound more and more like he wants to live in some sort of denial. The show is becoming heavily gay. Was it not that way when Funky Dineva was on the show? Like, are you kidding me? And to be quite honest with you, I kind of feel like the show was seeming a little less gay at some points when Armand was on there, even though Armand is an outwardly gay man. He is less feminine than Funky Dineva was. Let's be real about it.
I can't lie about this.
Destiny can take over doing more of the topics that, as it relates to women, as it relates to relationships. That's what he said. And I said, oh, okay. Well, that's a good idea.
Have you ever told Justin this?
We'll see. Yeah, I told Justin the overall theme of what our conversation was.
No, you didn't tell me that Al that you said the show was becoming heavily gay. This is new to me, Joyce. That's why I'm just really shocked. This was not told to me from my manager.
I just feel like, why were we not on this meeting if it was going into that much depth?
I'm not going to sit here and continue to go around.
Because they didn't think I'd ever tell you guys, because we were all kept at odds for a reason. Al has been puppeteering, keeping us all fighting against each other and not getting along, having sidebar conversations, trying to get me fired to Joyce, and then having a conversation with me, Armand, to try to get you fired to Joyce and to me, and that is a fact. And as long as you and I were speaking, and then Justin and I were in a weird place ever since I was on College Hill, so we weren't speaking. So all of us aren't speaking like we're supposed to. But Joyce and Al are still speaking very much. And Al has been very much been creating them, been puppeteering all of us to be at odds. And then all it took was me finally have a conversation with Armand, because I did not like the feeling. I was like, you know what? I love doing this show, and I want us to get along. I want to extend an olive branch to him, and I'm glad he was open to it. We spoke, and now we're good, Joyce. And that's why the show has been really good the last few days, because we're not being kept at odds. Fun fact for you, Joyce. Do you know whenever me and Armand get into it on the show, and he comes for me, Al rushes and calls Armand to tell him how much he loves the discourse on the show when he comes for me? What kind of show is that?
I feel like Al was protected. It's protected.
All right, so I'm stopping it right there. And this footage is actually courtesy of the Messy Sweet Spot YouTube channel. That's where I first heard it. And so to me, the way it looks is that she already was preparing herself to have her receipts. Not saying that she was planning on putting it out to other content creators, but just preparing to have her receipts because she felt like it was about to go down. So it looked like the way Zoom works is whoever has set up the meeting, they have the power as the host or the moderator, whatever the title is, to record, stop recording, all of those different things. So it looks like she had her phone or something set up to face the computer to record everything. And that's why the recordings look the way that they look. Although on my platform, you're just hearing the audio. I'm able to see it, and that's what it looks like to me. So she had pretty much in that end part said the exact same things that she was putting in chats, in comment sections, and that she had said in the interview that she did with Carlos King, that Al was manipulating and doing things to try to cause Armand to get fired, and he was, you know, causing the show's breakdown and all of those different things. And I absolutely agree with her. He has 100% had involvement in the demise of the show. And how asinine of him, because the entitlement is really what killed him in this situation. For me, it's not about how much percentage of him being at fault in the situation he needs to hold on to. It's just the entitlement for me. I, in this day and age, cannot understand people that don't understand how good they really got it in comparison to the way a lot of people are living right now, you know? And he obviously is someone that likes attention. I don't know who he thinks he is, but, you know, yeah, we should think well of ourselves. But even the Bible says, you know, not to think more highly of yourself than you ought to think. And for me, he does come across as someone who is really feeling himself and enjoying being this, maybe not the center of attention, but getting that attention centered on him at, you know, some points in time, and doesn't really mind sharing it. I'm not saying he's a camera hog, but just the mere fact that he had this opportunity, and from my understanding in the beginning, even though the concept is not a new one, and the way that it was initially done, it was definitely kind of pulled from Nene, even though shade was thrown to her on how she tried to do it with the read session, right? But all of that being said, when she presented this in the beginning, she said this was her baby. This was her idea. She thought about Al. She thought about Funky Dineva. She thought about Gary with the T, because they were all at Cynthia Bailey's wedding and they were having so much fun at her wedding reception together. So the breakdown and the demise in the relationship, I don't know what triggered all of that and what happened, but the mere fact that he was brought on, from what she says, by, you know, Claudia, to be a part of this opportunity, and for him to act the way that he was acting, if I were her, I would be pissed with him too. And so again, I'm not saying that she doesn't bear any responsibility in the situation, and I don't like the feel of her sharing this with some other content creators for them to put out versus her just coming out and putting it out. I would have respected it more if it came directly from her versus her sharing it with someone else. And House of Aaron, who shared content with us with these videos, I feel that some of it may have come by way of Claudia through Armand to House of Aaron, because House of Aaron and Armand are friends, I believe. And he was one of the content creators that Armand sat down with when he was doing his run to promote his guest spot on Fox Soul TGIF, and wanting people to show up, watch, comment, like, share, all of that good stuff, because he was trying to showcase his talent and that he deserved the opportunity. And one of the other things that I will say before I end it here, because this is really about my reaction to how Al Reynolds was going off, that's one of the reasons why, even though I felt Armand when he was getting full and was, you know, saying what he was saying, releasing it all, and I get that, it was the, you know, the precursor to all of this, where he was doing the run and talking about how he manifested all of this, and this was, you know, this was an opportunity that he manifested and whatever. And I'm not saying that you can't manifest things in your life and then they don't work out the way that you desire them to. But, I mean, he did like a really good YouTube press run to promote his time being a guest co-host. And also when he got it and it was announced, going live and doing the video that he did and was kind of, going off on some people and his haters or whatever, and then going to his YouTube channel and kind of cleaning some stuff up and taking down a lot of the content. I just, I question a lot of those things that he did in the beginning now, more so than I question what happened at the end. But Al, he, like I have said on a multitude of occasions, he is not an innocent angel. He's not some little princess that needs to be protected. No, he lives in this space of ego and entitlement that he doesn't deserve to be living in. And no one owed him that opportunity. He should have been grateful that he had it. And I'm not saying that anyone deserves to be treated like trash, even if they get an opportunity that they're doing well in and, making a good bit of money, decent, whatever, to be able to live and afford a lifestyle of, living. But for what he was experiencing versus what a lot of other people go through on these jobs and in these workplaces and whatever, boy, bye with your feelings and your emotions. Nobody cares about that, especially in that industry. We know so much happens in that industry that gets by that would never fly in the real world, in the real corporate, atmospheres and entities. And that's another reason why I wanted to talk about this too. When he was on that show and he always used to talk about, I used to be in this, I used to be in this, I used to work in this, I used to work in that. This dude has had so many different types of jobs and experiences and whatever. And he's always talking about, branding specialists and whatever. It didn't sound like he was operating in his branding, specialty by doing the things that he was doing and saying the things that he was saying and not thinking about his image, if you will. But on all of these jobs that he's had and whatnot, you mean to tell me that he's never been treated unfairly or poorly in any of these jobs? And then it also makes me wonder too, how did things end in a lot of these positions? Are you telling me you always quit? Or did you get fired a lot? Because I'm tending to be on option B, where, and it's just my personal opinion, it sounds like to me he probably got fired a lot in his jobs throughout the years. And I stand on this. This is my opinion. I feel like Star Jones was an opportunity for him, whether she knew he was bisexual or not. He claims that she knew, but I feel that was an opportunity for him, period. It was an opportunity for her too, but I do believe that she was more in it for the love versus the looks of it and the, this look of a relationship for press and media. But she did, benefit from a lot of it, which was weird, being on The View at the time and having all of these vendors and companies giving her free stuff for her wedding and reception. And he was right there to receive it with the big old cheesy smile, So Al Reynolds is not innocent by far. I am here for it. I'm just saying, I just don't feel good about how it was presented and how it was put out there. I would have respected Claudia in this more had she put this out herself versus sharing it with other content creators to put out there. But those are just my feelings and thoughts on the situation, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.